Hello and welcome to Front Row Racing World Championship Reserves. This is round 4, Russia. I'm Front Row Racing GP, also known as, I was going to say Stevie Sherbets, but that would be wrong now, wouldn't it? Because I am the Murray Talker. Last season it was Stevie Sherbets. With me in the commentary box this evening, we've got a World Championship driver, Mr. W Butler 89. We'll be calling him Will today because that's what his first name is. Good evening, Will. How are you?
Hi Steve, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad considering. I'm just going to tally up the mistakes I make and I'm on one already. So there we are. Also with us in commentary we've got Front Row Racing DP down in the pit lane, Mr. Ted Craftsticks. DP, are you with us this evening down there in the pit lane?
I am, yeah. Hoping for an interesting race, although we've got a few WCR drivers that are missing at the moment. So I'll quickly just run through the WCR drivers that we have got attending today. We've got Braken Clays, he's in a Ferrari, Hindle in the Mercedes, Kane Leander in the Force India, coming to get you in the Scuderia Ferrari, Dave the Harp in the McLaren Honda, and RDB in the Sahara Force India. There may also be a few joining a little late, but invites have also been sent out to World Championship drivers for if they also want to join. But we may just have to hang on a few minutes to see if some of the remaining WCR drivers do become available. I have had a message off a couple of them today saying that they aren't going to be able to make it.
Right, so while we are just waiting for a couple of others that may be able to join us, I'll wait for DP to give us the all clear on when to click through to track, because we're just going to wait like we said. But yeah, Will, you won't know this yet, but one of the guys on the grid from the World Championship Reserves has already been called up for next week's World Championship race. Now, Will, if you were unavailable for your race next week, would you watch this race before you made your decision? Or would you go and just think, well, I know who I'll pick, and go with it anyway?
I think I would watch this race, but I do know the majority of the drivers that race in the league anyway from last year and from other leagues, so it wouldn't be a hard decision, but I definitely would have a look.
Yeah, I think it would be worth having a look, get an idea of what people's pace and strategies are like. DP, anything to come in on that point?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think personally I'd probably have in mind who I might want to pick, but I might wait until I've seen the race just to see if they have any problems or whether there's somebody else that may benefit my team a little bit better, because at the end of the day that's what picking the reserve's all about. It's not just about picking your mate or someone with a cool name, it's picking someone that will score your team the most amount of points, because at the end of the day that's what it's about. If you're unable to make an event, you want someone there that is going to bag you some points, because at the end of the day it's the points in the World Championship and the World Series, the Constructors' points, that will decide in what order teams get to pick their cars for the following season. So every point you can get is very, very important. A little info as well for any of the viewers that are watching what the World Championship Reserves and the World Series Reserves are all about. Basically, we've got our Front Row Racing World Championship, which will be next Wednesday at Russia. And this World Championship Reserves event is basically for drivers who want to race with no assists, to be able to show what they're capable of and get used to Front Row Racing. And then also, it gives the opportunity for all of the teams to keep an eye on the drivers to see who they could pick as a reserve, and it works the same way for the World Series as well. And it works out to be quite a good way of the WC and WS drivers to pick a decent reserve, although obviously sometimes they need a bit of assistance with knowing all of the full FRR rules, which come into effect when you move up into the World Championship or the World Series.
So there we go, thank you. I think at this point, DP, would we say we might as well get them over to the circuit?
Yep, I'd agree with you on that one.
Okay, let's click the ready button, and you can do that as well, Will, and that should give the guys on the list there the sign to send them to the circuit. Yeah. So it is Russia. It could be quite cold weather. What could we expect from the event at Russia, Will?
Well, it's going to be a contrast to China in tyre wear. even though the circuits are sort of similar, there's long straights and there's long corners, fast corners of that as well. The air temperature and the track temperature is a huge difference. So
you were saying?
yeah, but hang on, I'll remember. Yeah, I mean the difference in air temperature and track temperature has a huge effect on these Pirellis. So with the cold temperatures here in Russia, tyre wear will not be a major problem for these drivers. So it gives them a bit of flexibility as well in that sense. Which hopefully will give us exciting racing as well.
Well, with that, do you think drivers will go for the softer compounds of tyres?
I think
yes.
Well,
I think they will.
It's interesting you say that, because I was going to say I think they won't, because I would go balanced, and I'll tell you why I'd say that. Gives you 2 fresh sets of the soft compound. So if you do happen to have an incident on the first lap, first corner, or in this case second corner, it gives you that opportunity to do soft after you've already done 1 lap on the super softs. That would be my opinion.
Okay, I've got a question of the day for you guys.
Go on then.
Question of the day, something that we've been doing in Formula Racing for a couple of seasons now, and okay, I got the one for the World Series very, very wrong the other day. But the question of the day for you now. You two had an idea of what kind of question of the day I was going to try and do today. I've not been able to get the information I need to be able to go for that one. So instead, I'm going to go for a different question, which is, which current Formula One circuit has the least amount of elevation change?
The least amount?
I could have gone for the most amount of elevation change, but that's fairly obvious. I mean, when I mentioned that to you two earlier, straight away you got it. So which circuit has got the least amount of elevation change in current F1? That's the question of the day, folks. If you think you know the answer, pop it up in the YouTube comments, and we'll see what answers come in. But yeah, okay, on to the qualifying session then, and I suppose this should be a case of let's see what tyres people are on, and let's see what the weather's going to do.
Yeah, well, we've got Dave the Harp on a set of super soft tyres. The weather looks like it's going to be dry for both qualifying and the race. Just on DP's question of the day there though, Will, I've got a thought on what it might be, but I don't know whether I want to say it, because if it's correct, Dave might go, well, now you've just ruined it again for me.
Well, you can keep your answer till a little later then, but go on, Will, you give me your answer and I'll say nothing.
I think I might know what it is, because I have... Oh, no, it's not that, sorry. I was going to say a track, but I know it's definitely the wrong answer. Come back to me.
Come back to you. Okay, there we go. You could have said, well, it may be this circuit we're at. That'd be a fairly good guess. I think it would be a strong shot, but that's not what guess I was going to go with, so that's why I said it. That's just out there. But yeah, it's got to be a strong shot.
Sorry to put in, just so you know, you've got Breaking Plays, he's out on track at the moment, he's out on an outlap on the super soft tyre. But also, obviously, something that's popped up in a few discussions of Formula Racing recently is safety car, Steve. So do you want to talk us through what the situation is with safety cars at the moment? Right,
well, the safety car at the moment, in previous events when we have tried using the safety car, as Dave the Harp goes on to start his flying lap, we have noticed that sometimes when we need the commentary crew to retire from the event, it has brought out either a virtual safety car or a full safety car. But also, if a driver decides, oh, I don't want to race anymore, I'm having a really bad race, and retires and leaves the session, it can bring out a safety car. Even if after a few laps of retiring, it's when they leave the session, it can bring out the safety car. Obviously, that could have an effect on the race, but not only that, it can have a negative effect on a race if someone deliberately does it to help a teammate. Basically, if someone was to go, right, my teammate's got a chance of winning this race, if I bring a safety car out, it may be running in...
But Tom Younger has hit the wall in turn 3, and he's damaged his front wing.
He has. Yeah.
On the soft tires as well, on his outlap.
Do you think going out on the soft tyre is probably the wrong call at this point, or do you think he's done it for just a bit of familiarity? Can't say the word, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think maybe. I mean, in my experience, I do like to do one lap on all the available qualifying sites just to give them a heat cycle. I think that comes into some use later on, rather than a pair of stickers if you bring them on in the race, which can take a lot longer to heat up. But it's very strange though that he has lost it on that turn, because it's not a really unless he's hit the throttle hard.
I will say that with Kane Leander, he is still quite new to running with no traction control. He is still getting used to it. That is one thing with Kane Leander. He's a WCR driver, World Series Reserve driver, which we're allowed to use assists. He's opted to try in here as well. He's done a couple of races already, but he is still trying to get used to it. So that might be one of the reasons why. But just very quickly finish off with a safety car. Yeah, we don't want anybody to influence a safety car coming out deliberately to benefit their teammate. So until Codemasters can do a patch where they can go, well, we won't bring a safety car out just because somebody's leaving the lobby. Yeah. I mean, if someone has a crash, fair enough, but leaving the lobby.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing as well is, there's some people that have commented saying, oh, well, it can make a boring race interesting. Well, at the end of the day, if a race is boring, the race is boring. You shouldn't be having safety cars come out for the wrong reasons to spice it up. At the end of the day, the safety car's got to work properly for it to be used, really. I mean, some people may know I'm involved in a little bit of sim racing, and there's a lot of discussion on there as well. I mean, people say to them, why don't you have safety cars? Oh, also I was watching Breaking Clays, he's so close to putting it in the barrier. And sim racing is one of those things where it's the same sim racing in F1 on Codemasters. It's got to work properly and for the right reasons. And I mean, as you said, Steve, no one wants to see that situation of someone doing a PK or possibly doing a PK. And it's one of those things, no one wants to have to be in that situation of trying to work out, did someone do something on purpose? And even if they did, okay, in FRR there's the rules of, you've got to record your footage and everything, but I mean, let's say, for example, the way that someone decided, right, I'm going to end my race and bring out a safety car, I'll just unplug my Ethernet. Well, if that happens, or they turn their power off, if they're double tap share recording, that's their footage gone. So how can you wouldn't work out if it was done on purpose? And that grey area is not worth the hassle. So until the safety car works properly, it's pretty much out of the equation, which, yes, may be frustrating, but like I say, I mean, we did one of the WCR races a few weeks ago at Bahrain, where, like I say, he came out for a driver retiring and leaving the session 4 or 5 laps later, but when there was a crash and a safety car could have come out, there was no action from it. Anyway, okay, let's try and focus a bit more on what's happening on track.
Yes.
The few lap times been put in.
Yeah, a few laps have been put in. I'm just watching Coming to Get You at the moment. Is either trying to get those tyres a bit hotter for another lap, or is had enough of them, and he's had enough of them. I saw quite a few lookups.
You know what I'm saying? The track temperature right now is actually slightly higher than what it normally is, so that might work in their favour. But I'm looking at the telemetry right now, and Breaking Clays has the purple Sector 3 right now, which is pretty impressive.
Now, Sector 3, that's the one that's obviously quite tight and twisty around here. So would you say that he is likely to be running more aerodynamics than the other cars that are out on circuit?
Well, one of the fast section is obviously Sector 2 of the DRS zone, and he is nearly half a second slower than RMS Maranello, who has the purple sector in that area. So possibly, but I mean, that can work. That can work out quite well sometimes.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, Kane Leander is on a flying lap at the moment.
Okay, let's have a look. Did just notice RDB has just come out of the pits for the first time.
So
DP, if you could,
Leander's about to get ready for a flying lap.
Yeah, Dave, if you could let us know when RDB is about to start his as well, so that'd be good, because Kane Leander's got 2 corners to go, and then he'll be starting his flying lap. Because obviously this is him back out the pits after he lost his front wing. So over the start-finish line he goes, and we do have Drew join us. He's a World Championship reserve driver and a World Series reserve driver as well. It's a very strange turn 1 here, because a lot of circuits wouldn't actually call that a turn, would they?
It is irritating. It reminds me, do you remember the Nürburgring like they used in the 90s? And that first chicane, when the Juniors had that.
I know which one you mean, yeah.
There's always only one line, and it's like, and this is a very similar track in that sense, which is a bit frustrating.
Kane's heading now towards where the end of Sector 1 is, and it's a 35.1 Sector 1.
That's not the slowest first sector, that's quite good.
Yeah, it's quite a competitive Sector 1, not a bit tight on that corner there, but if it had taken a slightly wider line it might have been a bit quicker through it, but he's a bit wider on that one, and that won't be the quickest way through that corner. Still trying to find his lines around this circuit, I think we could say.
Well, RDB is just heading up to the final corner. I'll keep you updated on what his sector times are.
Okay, so RDB and Kane Leander, I think they're both running in the Force Indias, aren't they, together? Yes, they are. They're known as the Nice Guys finish last Force Indias. So we've got a 35.1 Sector 1 and a 35.1 Sector 2. And if he has a 35.1 Sector 3, he's had a terrible lap, because it should be much quicker than 9 Sector 3. But let's have a look.
He's made a mistake somewhere, isn't he? So this is
RDB spun it, just missed the wall. That was on the exit at turn 4, where you mentioned about Kane Leander getting a little sideways there early on and hitting the barrier, and RDB pretty much did exactly the same thing, but big lock up on the brakes to avoid hitting the barrier. That'll be his lap over.
It is his lap over now. Fortunately, with these tyres, he will be able to, unless he's not got the fuel on board, he should be able to do another lap, because he can afford to have an extra lap on these tyres going into this race. Because how many laps do you think he'd be likely to do in the race on a set of tyres he's qualified on, Will?
Sorry, I'm trying to butt in a second, Steve. Coming to get you back, start a flying lap. Carry on, Will.
I think the slots can go 5 to 6 laps, depending on, of course, how many qualifying laps you do. But I mean, if you're a driver who's probably not expecting to get pole position, you wouldn't exert the tyres that much. Oh, okay, Kenyan's hit the wall again.
Oh no.
Just before the second DRS zone, and he's got a puncture, and he's completely lost his front wing.
That must have been a heavy
If you want
impact.
information on punctures, I'm sure Steve can give us some information on that.
Well, you know me, like to take the tyres to their limits, shall we say?
I tell you what, coming to get you is just on a 34.6 Sector 1.
Is that purple? Purple it is.
It's not quite purple. He's 1/10 off purple.
But I tell you what,
he is on the soft compound tyre, whereas purple Sector 1 is done on the super soft tyre, and that's F1 road running at the moment.
I'm watching RNS 90 about to finish his lap. I don't know if it's been invalidated or not, but he's very quick. That's a 38.1, yeah, he's a bit off the pace there.
Yeah. Coming to get us heading up to the end of Sector 2, and that's a 34.5.
That's only a 10th off purple Sector 2.
I tell you what, he's looking good on these soft compound tyres. I'm wondering if he's considering starting the race on these, because this doesn't look necessarily like kind of a feel. I can't bloody speak today.
A feeler. He's absolutely. He is pushing it. It's a 28.7 Sector 3 is a purple at the moment. Let's see what he does. A 28.8.
Goes second
place. That's a fantastic lap by coming to get you there.
Yeah, this guy. I can't say too much more than what I've already said in previous races, apart from saying it again. And that is, every time I've seen this guy drive, it amazes me how good and calm and collected and quick this guy is. He just seems to be able to do it. Let's have a look at who else is out on there. That is a World Championship reserve driver. We've got Dave the Harp on an out lap. RDB is on a timed lap. We'll have a look to see what he's going to do. He's into Sector 3. He's currently sat in 7th place on a set of super. He's off the throttle. He's heading back into the pits. And Jamie James is in the pits. Hindle is in the pits after putting, he's not put a lap in. He's only put sector times in, I believe. So
David Hart's only a couple of corners away from starting, isn't it?
yep.
I can imagine right now though they'll be putting on the tyres that they want to start the race on, so this will be key.
Yeah. Have you found that the qualifying sessions tend to be faster at the end of qualifying, or does it really tend to depend on what the temperature's doing?
No, it generally does get faster. Usually, I know we have part firmware rules, but you can still tweak the front wings, and I think it's the brake touch, I can't remember. And the track does rub in, and you do feel it. I mean, I've noticed before, best example, I think it was Melbourne, the first race of the season that we had, just how much grip I had on my last qualifying lap. There's a major difference. So again, it varies on
Excuse me.
what these guys have.
Just bear with me one moment while I get a drink.
No problem.
Sorry, I'm just choking to death then. 35-1. 35.
Yeah, coming to get you is on another flying lap on those soft tyres. So maybe he's confident that tyre wear won't be a decisive factor in the race. It's got a good line out of turn 4. I like that. So it's not like a course it's a 36.4 sector 1, so maybe he has a something there.
Okay, David Harp's done his first sector of a 35-1. Coming up to the end of sector 2 with 35-4. David Harp is a World Series driver who's taking part in the World Championship reserves. Used to be a World Championship driver. Struggled a little bit having to take the assists off. But still competed and decided to take up the challenge again. Now the option of having the reserves are there, gives him the option to take those assists off and see what he's able to do. And he's just put in a 140.6, which is currently 6th place on the grid. Okay, quickly have a look at the timing screen. We've got 2 minutes left, and who have we got out on circuit? I'm
watching Breaking Clays, who's just started his flying lap on the soft tyres. And he's ran wide. Oh, he's just missed it. He had a half spin coming out of turn 4. But he's just held it together and it drops his sector time by about a second there. That's a shame. He was doing quite well up to that point.
Yeah, you know, like you say, just ran a little bit wide onto the curb and it did kick that rear out on him. And the sector 1 was a 35.4. I'm wondering if he saw that coming to get you, it was able to set a decent lap time on these compound tyres, and it's opted to go do the same.
I think his lap time's been invalidated. I did see that he cut the corner quite slightly.
Yeah, it does look like the time is frozen, and if that happens when they go near a corner, that tends to be the case. So yeah, his time has frozen at that point. So he may get another lap in, and if he's got the fuel to do it. Just while he's getting round to that point, Kane Leander is on his flying lap. He's in sector 1, unless he's just come out the pits. It'll tell me in a moment when he crosses over sector 1. 34.8 sector 1. That's not too bad at all from Kane Leander. Quick look through David Harp. It looks like he's on an in lap. RDB, not long left now in this session. He's heading down towards turn 1. No, that's turn 5. That's a 34.8 for RDB in sector 1 there. Let's have a look through the drivers. Hindle back out. Looks like he's going to try and get a lap in. We haven't seen Hindle yet. Whereabouts is he on circuit? He looks like he's going to be running wide off the track there at that point, unfortunately. It sounds like his car actually might be out of fuel.
I've muted my TV. Yeah, it does a little bit. But he's not that far from the pit lane, so he should be okay.
Yeah, unless he's...
yeah. But RDB did a good lap. His first sector was a 34.8, but he lost a bit of time in sector 2. It's a 36. He ran wide into the corner there.
I have just seen Breaking Clays do another first sector with 34.7, which is pretty good. But then I think his time's frozen again. It has. Okay. That was unfortunate for him. Okay, so now we are out of the pit lane into the commentary box. This is where we get to view from here. We don't get any more sector times. Flick through the cars and let's see which we can find. Breaking Clays looks like he's well off the power on that point. Who are you on watching?
I'm watching Hindle. He's kept it on the road so far. I think there's another car I've seen in turn 4 who the back end kicks out as they exit. And I don't think it'll be the last, but the Red Bull gets out of the way. Looking quite strong from what I can tell. The lines into the corners are good. The braking is good. I haven't seen the tyres lock up either, which in this really is pretty impressive, seeing there's no ABS. And he's another fish tail as well. And has he aborted that one?
It looks like he has done. That's unfortunate. It looked like he was on a good lap there, Will, from what you were saying, and what we saw of it, it was looking alright as well.
It was a very tidy lap, yeah, shown. A lot of drivers are making mistakes, they're not quite getting the power down correctly.
Do you think...
Sorry, I was just going to come in on that. I mean, one of the reasons for that could be set up, could be, like Will said, the way that they're driving, but it also could be that little bit of pressure. I've got to prove myself. I'm up against some of the WC drivers here. I've got to show what I can do. And I mean, it can be very, very easy to overdrive at times, whereas sometimes, I mean, people get bored of me saying it's slower to go faster on occasion. But at the same time, I mean, this is a circuit where it is very stop, start in some corners, so if you do get on that throttle a little bit too much, you can quite easily find yourself facing the wrong direction.
You can, and I'm just wondering if the drive...
If I could just ask you guys, because I did FRR days in 2015, and that was obviously a big proving ground for you guys. What did you look for mainly? Was it consistency or speed? Or both?
I would say, well, Steve wasn't really... I mean, I covered a lot of the FRI Days events, and one of the things that we looked for more than anything was cleanliness. Be how drivers were wheel to wheel. That was sort of one of the number one factors. And then it was things like, okay, speed, ability, and those kind of factors. So a lot of it came down to the pure basics of how are people in wheel to wheel, because at the end of the day, if people were going to move up into the World Championship or the World Series, obviously they've got to be able to do that, and the drivers who are already there, they kind of need to know that the people who are coming in are capable of battling side to side without causing major carnage.
That's right. Will, over to you actually, if you would like to read through the qualifying standings.
Yeah. Well, pole position goes to RMS Maranello. It is a World Championship driver, but in terms of second place is Roadrunner, but only a 10th off, both on the same tyres. That'll be interesting. We've now got Coming to Get You third, Braking Place 4th, Kenyander 5th, David Hop 6th, RDB 7th, and they're all reserve drivers, so that'll be interesting to see.
And also just point out at that point as well that Hindle will be starting at the back behind the commentary team. Now he should know what's going to happen because he has been part of the commentary team, or I should say he is part of the commentary team, so he will be ready for you to be moving slowly. Yeah.
Just need to remind Will as well. Will, as soon as it pops up saying get ready to start the formation lap, if you press the options button, put the pause menu on, and just let the car drive the formation lap on its own. And then we can also have a look at what tyres people may be on. But yeah, as Steve said, anyone that starts behind the commentary team, they are going to have to go around us, as Steve has had to vacate the lobby to be able to come back to catch the start of the race. Okay, so formation lap very nearly underway. It is now underway. So if we have a look at the race director, is there any interesting tyre choices there that you can see?
Well, they've all gone for the super softs, except Coming to Get You in third place and Kane Leander in fifth place. Now those two drivers are starting on the racing line, so they will have that advantage compared to Braking Place and Roadrunner, for example, who are nowhere near the racing line on the super softs. So that's something very much to watch out for.
Yeah, I mean, Coming to Get You was a fantastic lap on the soft compound tyre, so obviously he has to start on those, and similar for Kane Leander. I think cars behind RDB, they're able to sort of free pick their tyres, and they're all possibly have fresh tyres. I believe Steve's now in there. Steve, could you have a look through your drivers and see if we've got Drew on the grid? Because I know he was able to join during the qualifying. Hopefully he's going to join the start of the race as well. I mean, Drew, touching on what you said a few moments ago, Will, about the FRI days, I mean, Drew's a driver that when he first started, yes, he had a few issues, but at the same time, a lot of people do. And one of the reasons we do these reserve events is to give drivers that opportunity to become better drivers and learn off the drivers that are there and how to improve. And one of the things that Drew did in the last reserves races, because he takes part in both the WCR and the WSR, he had an absolutely fantastic race in the World Series reserves. I mean, let's face it, there's not many people that can go, I overtook Hindle, but he kind of nearly did. He was just very unlucky later on. But yeah, I mean, it's good to see people improving as they have been. I would like to quickly mention as well, obviously the way the reserve system works is World Series drivers are allowed to take part in the World Championship Reserve if they want to look at getting into no-assist racing. World Series reserve drivers, they can take part in the WSR and also the World Championship reserves. So either pathway is open to them. World Series drivers will need to take part in the WCR if they want to get into the no-assist side of racing. But I believe we're now forming up on the grid, aren't we, Steve?
We are. As for Drew, I believe he may be behind you.
He has made it, yes, behind you. Along with him.
So the lights are coming on. When all 5 lights are on, it's not long before they're going to be going out. They are out and they're away, and they're going to be heading down to a very short run into turn 1. But the real stopping point is going to be turn 2. Armas Nallo runs away in first, but I tell you what, Braken Clay's had a lovely start round the outside, and he's going to be leading this race into turn 2. And he's got a clean run on them soft compound tyres, and he is leading the race on the softer compound tyres, and that is going to have surprised quite a few of the guys that he has just driven past, as the guys that he's just driven past are the World Championship drivers. So great start from coming to get you there.
I'll tell you what, I've just seen the replay of that on YouTube, because obviously I get it on a bit of a delay. That was a good start by him. That might annoy a few people.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Just quickly run through then. Obviously, Armas Mallow runs a bit wide. We've got, yes, coming to get you in first position. That's who have we got there? That is Armas Mallow still in second. He kept hold of second position in there, ran wide. Braken Clays is up to third position in the Ferrari on a set of super soft compound tyres. F1 Roadrunner in fourth. RDB in fifth, getting very close behind the car next to him there, but he's gone deep, he's locked up, and he's going to be running wide there, as Kane Leander's just going to come past as well. No, he's not. That is RDB. Kane Leander is just behind him. Very busy first lap.
I'm watching Hinder in 10th place, and we've got a Red Bull and a Mercedes have spun at the chicane, and the Red Bull's got a damage coming, but it was more of a synchronised spin from Hindle because of Jamie James in front of him deciding to be a bit Phoenix.
Yeah, keep an eye on Jamie James. He's going to have to go to the pits and put a new front wing on. I'll see what he does tyre compound wise, but when I was watching the same thing there, and it was kind of like Jamie James got a little bit sideways and Hindle had a sympathy spin.
Just caught the rear of it, or I should say we just caught it in the rear of the footage as...
We've got a tyre race on a Red Bull, it's Roadrunner, and who's the other Red Bull? Over Dykings have spun at turn 2. There's minor contact between them. Both of them have carried on. I don't think they've got damage. Coming to get you has just been overtaken, but he's just retaken the lead again around turn 5. Him and Armas Maranello have a great battle at the moment. They just need to keep away from each other a bit more. And Armas Maranello is what would normally be the gravel trap, but he's off onto the tarmac, beyond the tarmac of these tarmac circuits, if that makes sense. That's my new Murrayisms.
That was a bit of an interesting one.
Yeah.
Go on.
Two Ferraris first and second, and we've got 2 Force Indias going fourth later. Now we're Braken Clays, slipstreaming coming to get you. Going down the straight, he's down onto the outside line. Well, that's going to be tight. They almost touch, and it's still going. This is amazing. What a battle!
And I can say that even though they're... even though they are both in the Ferraris, there will be no team orders. They are two separate drivers. There'll be no teammates between these two.
Okay, a bit of info for you. Jamie James, he's gone onto the medium compound tyre. Can he do what Rosberg did a few seasons ago? But also, Drew, who started behind us in the commentary box, he's in 5th place on the medium compound tyre, but he is about to be overtaken possibly by RMS Maranello, who is on the super soft tyre, obviously recovering from that bit of a spin.
Yeah, I can see what's happening between the two guys at the front here, because Braken Clays can see the compound that Coming to Get You's on. Braken Clays is thinking, I need to get away from him at this point, because this is where he needs to pull a gap with him being on the softer compound tyres, and the longer he leaves it, the less chance he's got. If he wants to make something happen in this race, he's got to pull away. And can he do it now? He's managed to get that lead, or it's Coming to Get You going back.
Sorry. I thought there was going to be a big crash. And a very, very interesting situation we've got here. I mentioned Drew a moment ago on the medium compound tyre. He had 2 cars behind him, one on super softs, one on soft tyres. And those 3 different tyre compounds created a lot of bunching up in the middle of the corners. Ended up with 2 guys very, very nearly ended up in the barrier. But that's something drivers are going to have to think about in the World Series reserve race tomorrow and in the WCR next week. The potential of people being on the mediums while others are on the super softs or softs.
With Drew being on the mediums now, though, I'm going to ask you this, Will, but if you don't know the answer, just say you don't know. How far is he going to go on the medium before he puts on a different compound, and what other compound should he put on?
It's difficult to tell, really, from our point of view. But I would try and make him last as long as possible. In a sense of, if his holds his speed consistent, then it will optimise his strategy. But I don't think the timing difference between all 3 cars.
Sorry. Ferrari's heading down towards turn 2.
I'm on him.
To get the camera on those.
I'm on him.
I'll keep
Carry
an eye
on,
the
Will.
battle that's behind him.
Short DP. There's a move for the lead. Sorry, there was, just as you spoke, there was a move for the lead, and Coming to Get You has retaken that lead, as DP predicted. Sorry, RDB, what was he up to?
He was being overtaken by Ola Dykent going into turn 1, but he hasn't given up. He is still right on his gearbox.
Confirm for me, the Force India that was in 3rd place, it was probably Kane Leander. It's probably not anymore, because I think I've just seen him going off the track.
Who is he's in 3rd? He's in 3rd.
It was a 4. Right, Kane Leander, where is Kane Leander now?
Kane Leander is running in 3rd place.
He still is in 3rd. I tell you what, I've just seen him have a big off, and he must have managed to get
massively wide.
Yeah, he must have managed to get back on the circuit and still hold that 3rd position. He's lucky to be able to do that and keep that same position. I'm surprised there wasn't somebody ready to pounce and take that position away from him.
I'm just watching the top 2, and I know they've got Coming to Get You is on the soft tyres and Braken Clays on the option tyres. But Coming to Get You is locking up much more than Braken Clays. That's really going to hurt him if he plans to do a longer run on these tyres.
It is going to hurt him, and I'm just wondering if he's maybe pushing those tyres past what they should be really doing. If he is locking them up, that could lead to punctures. I know. Here's the move, though.
Well, he didn't really fight for it, did he?
It was a difficult camera angle that I was on with then, but I didn't want to change it because it would normally give me an even worse one. Yeah, it was not really fought for.
Well, the thing is, the turn 2 at this particular corner, where it's effectively turn 1, it's one of those where really you don't want to be on the inside of the corner, going into it.
Braken Clays has made a mistake coming out of that corner. He had a little fishtail at the back end, and now it's right on his gearbox. I presume by the DRS zone, they should be side by side.
Yeah, they are literally going to be swapping positions through the DRS zones, I believe. But you would expect the softer compound tyres of the super soft red wall tyres to be able to pull a gap at some point, but they're just not doing it at the moment. And there we go, another switch for the lead.
The soft compound.
There's contact, and I tell you what, Braken Clay's nearly lost it, but it does look like that coming to get you might have had a bit of an ease off there and just said, you know what, that might have been a bit of my fault, I'll let you just catch me up a little bit, because it didn't look like he was fully on the throttle.
The soft compound tyre is definitely working better at the moment. Everyone I've seen on softs is attacking people. For example, RMS Maranello just lost the position to Overdyking, and RMS Maranello is actually into the pits to get rid of his super soft tyre. As Will was saying as well, Hindle was on the move as well. He's got ahead of Drew. I'm not sure if he's gained another place, but I'm going to have a look at what tyres RMS Maranello is going on. But I've got to say, that battle for the lead, that's building up to be quite an interesting one.
Yeah, I think so. Another DRS straight and another overtake. Is he going to be able to hold it? He's not going to be able to hold it there, because that would normally be where Kane Leander is in the lead. And I'll tell you what, he might have it after turn 4. He has.
Right.
Did I say Kane Leander? I didn't mean Kane Leander. I meant coming to get you.
Kane Leander, though, is under a lot of pressure from Overdyking now. They're both on the soft compound tyre, and Overdyking's catching up quite quickly. I think that big off that we saw Kane have earlier may have got him a 10-second penalty, but also some extra info for you. Jamie James, his race ended on lap 2 with a terminal damage, so unfortunately his test session as a WC driver is over. And Overdyking making a move on Kane Leander, as Kane Leander had a bit of a messy exit of the corner, and big lockups from the both of them there. But yeah, soft compound tyres looking to be the tyres to go on. But Kane Leander, he might now have DRS. He has. He's going to try and take the position back. This could get interesting as they get down to the little mini bridge and into the corner that go on. Well,
so we've got a three-way battle now for fifth place. RDB versus Hindle. It's the same battle, soft versus super softs, and the soft tyres are going to win this one. Oh no! Oh, it's contact! Oh, and RDB's in the wall. He's damaged his front wing. And Drew gets past as well, so he's dropped to 9th place now.
Yeah, he's just got a little bit of damage to his front left on that wing, but if he's on the super soft tyres, he was probably considering doing a pit stop any time soon, as he does head into the pits at this point. So up at the lead, coming to get you, is still leading the race with Braken Clays in second. And I'm just wondering now whether
he's broke DRS as well now.
I was just about to say, I'm just wondering whether he's going to be able to break that DRS, because this could be the point where them super softs have gone off enough that they can't run. Oh, and I'll tell you what,
car into the pit wall.
The car into the pit wall just at the same time as I was going to Braken Clays, being sideways out of turn 4, I think it was. And who was into the pit wall?
Taro Rosso of F1 Roadrunner. He gave it a front from a motor, all 4 wheels are still on the car.
Wow. They are struggling, aren't they? With it's a circuit that doesn't have high tyre degradation, but it doesn't have a lot of grip on that circuit either. There's not a lot of... there's not high tyre deg. There's low tyre deg, but there's no grip. That's one of the reasons why there's low tyre deg, and they are finding that at the moment, aren't they?
It's the conundrum in open wheel racing. So what you have is, you have the aerodynamics, so the wing setup, so turning in the corners. Oh, I've got loads of speed here, we can go really fast. So you get the aerodynamics giving you one message as a driver, but then you've got the tyres trying to send a number saying, I've got no heat, I've got no grip, we can't go this fast. And you have obviously that conundrum of what you're going to do, and then sometimes it's too late when you get the message from the tyres saying, yeah, we're not going to do this, and you're into the wall.
Yeah.
Very easy under it.
With such a long straight on the start-finish straight as well, the tyres and brakes cool down so much that you lose so much tyre temperature down there that by the time you get into that first sector, you can be struggling for tyre temperature.
Well, another thing as well is, obviously, if tyres aren't getting up to temperature, just like, RMS Maranello is about to make a move on Drew. RMS Maranello on brand new tyres, it's going to be an easy DRS assisted overtake down into turn 2. But Drew's fighting. He's got some straight line speed there by the looks of it. Not a lot he can do about it now, though, as the top speed of that horse takes over. I think we're very close to... Oh, he's gone a little wide as well. I think we're getting close to Braken Clays making a pit stop going with the super soft tyre. But yeah, what I was going to say was, if the tyres aren't getting decent temperature, if they're not in the working range, braking becomes a whole different ball game, because you can easily start locking them up, which may give them a bit of temperature, but in turn it doesn't give the grip you need because you're locking them up. It's these vicious triangles going off all over the place, and one that I know that's going off for one driver is apparently Hindle is complaining that he's 2 seconds off his assist time.
Well, he should practice more without assists.
Yeah. I was also going with something very unsympathetic along those lines. He's a very talented driver though, so I don't think it'll take him long, that much practice to get up to speed.
Yeah, and Braken Clays does not pit this lap. He goes around for another lap. I mean, I shouldn't really say anything, because if he was to say, but I'm 2 seconds a lap off his assists time as well, he would tell me that I need to practice more.
Yeah, definitely. Just so you know, Overdyking, he's starting to catch up to Braken Clays now. Obviously, Overdyking's on the soft compound tyre.
Sorry to interrupt, Dave. Hindle was pitted. The first driver's pit with soft tyres.
That surprises me that it's at this point in the race. I mean, I was going to say, does that make it a 2-stop race? But he's gone for the medium compound tyres. Interesting call there.
It means he can push. If he does 2, then obviously he can push much harder on these medium tyres rather than stay consistent. Probably lingering in the 7 to 8 position, sort of net positions. But this is an interesting call. I'd look out for him.
Yeah, let's see where he is at the end. RDB running in 9th, Roadrunner in 10th. Back up at the lead though, coming to get you, running around on his soft compound tyres with a lead of 4.1 seconds to Braken Clays, and Overdyking catching Braken Clays up with a couple of seconds down the road.
He's got to put Braken Clays, he's losing so much time. I mean, I'm on board with him now. That front right, it's got quite a few flat spots, and even though his braking is actually quite... Yeah, he's locking his tyres up now quite a lot. He needs to get into bits, otherwise he's going to lose a lot of time to get in.
Do you think it's one of those scenarios where the tyres can say that you've only got X amount of percentage of wear, and you think these tyres will go a lot further yet, but the lap time will just drop off so much that you, if you're not practiced and experienced the race stint with it yet, you're probably just looking at the tyre wear going, I've still got life in these.
Well, tyre wear is a very fickle thing, because sometimes you can lose a lot of tyre wear in one corner and you get a completely different car. I mean, I had that in Bahrain in the World Championship race, because I had a puncture after 10 laps on the softs, and I went from my left front, it was about 50% there, went up to 80% there in one corner.
Wow.
Locked up. Yeah, so the tyre wear can drop off very quickly.
Something you said as well earlier, Will, about putting a heat cycle for a set of tyres in qualifying. I mean, that's something that could come into effect quite a lot at this particular track as well, isn't it? It's been a little bit like Monza as well, doing an additional warm-up lap before you do your quali hot lap. For example, I'm watching Hindle at the moment. His car is very, very sideways on the medium compound tyre, the hardest of the compounds out of this track. So it looks like the temperatures aren't coming in for him yet. And obviously, a circuit where it doesn't create that natural temperature, it can take, instead of a couple of laps to come up, it can take 3 or 4, can't it?
Most certainly, sometimes you can never get it up to the... I've had this before at Russia. You can't actually get the tyres up to the optimum heat at all, and by the time you do, you've actually used them up and you're ready to pit. So it's a fickle one here, Russia. It's one of the few circuits that does it. The only other circuit that does that is Silverstone and Belgium, where the tyres...
Just going to put in a second, Steve. RMS Maranello getting close to Dave the Harp at the moment.
And Braken Clays. Yeah, he does. Braken Clays has pitted.
Yeah, sorry to have cut you off there, but yeah, I mean, absolutely spot on. Not that you brothers can remember what it was we were talking about, that's why we've just gone,
RMS Maranello.
Sorry, Steve, you go.
Just to say, RMS Maranello did make that overtake on Dave the Harp. So, RDB on the soft compound.
Drew's hit the wall coming out of the third last turn. He's damaged his front wing. Those mediums look to have taken a bit of a pounding already. He's staying out.
Do you think that's a bad call?
it may have been too late for him to make the call to get into the pits.
Well, the front wing on his crippled left side, the end plate's completely gone. So that's on a top five, so that's going to really hurt him.
Yeah, I lock up straight away into that first turn there on that particular wheel where the damage is. It is going to hurt him. And he would be better off. I mean, what is it? 17 laps to go. He'd be able to put a set of softs on and go to the end from there. He might as well go and get it done.
That'll be fine.
I can say 17 laps maybe. I mean, we've already had the first of the soft tyre runners pit already. I'm going to keep an eye on braking place to see if we can do anything with the gap, but I want to quickly re-mention the question of the day. So viewers, get ready to see if you can answer this one. It's quite obvious which current F1 track has the biggest elevation change. If you think you know the answer, that one's fairly simple. Yeah. However, which circuit on the current F1 calendar has the smallest elevation change? That's the question of the day. So if you know the answer, pop it in the YouTube comments.
Can I ask you a question on that? Is that like change throughout the lap, or is that on average throughout the lap?
From the highest point of the circuit to the lowest point of the circuit.
Okay.
Which track has got the smallest elevation difference?
Is that in terms of altitude? I presume you mean like.
I don't mean like 2,000 feet above the sea. I'm not getting that technical. I just mean the difference between the lowest part of the circuit and the highest part of the circuit. Obviously, the one that's got the biggest difference is Spa. Top of Eau Rouge to down at the bottom of Pouhon, I think it is, and that's about 100 odd metres. But which circuit has got the smallest elevation difference?
Can I have my guess yet?
You can have your guess if you want.
Silverstone, because it's an old airfield.
Interesting. Go on then, Will, what you got for us?
Well, I've walked Silverstone, so I know it's definitely not Silverstone. I was out of breath after I got to the top of Stowe. It's Canada.
Oh, interesting guess. Let's see if the viewers pop in with any guesses on that one. I'll tell you what, I've been keeping an eye on braking Clays, and he's gaining, but he's only just done it, and it's only by 0.3 of a second.
Oh, well, talking about when I said Drew should be coming in for a set of tyres and what tyres he should go for and all of that, and I said, oh, he could do 17 laps on a set of soft tyres. I have my information here, and my information says they should do 18 to 20 laps. But you've got to run them carefully.
It would say someone struggling with Dave the Harp in 6th place. I don't know if he pitted or not, but his super stops are butchered and he's pitting already. This is his second stop.
Oh, shall I have a look for you? No, this is his first.
That's amazing, doing 12 laps on the super stops.
Yeah, I mean, my information actually says 10 to 15 for the super softs, but it depends on what they've done on them in qualifying. If he never got a good lap on them in qualifying, as in if he was just careful on them in qualifying, yeah. Do you want to know how many laps the mediums will do?
Go on.
My information says 27 laps. Or more if you need them to do more.
Steve needs to cut you off. Second F1 road runners catching up to the back of Drew, with Drew having that damage to the front end of his car, making life very, very difficult for him. He won't be able to look after those tyres with that front wing damage. An F1 road runner on a set of super soft tyres all over the back of him now into turn 4. Going to try and go around the outside. I think Drew's a bit of a sitting duck on this one. Oh, unlucky there, he's unlucky there. But that little bit of front wing damage would have made him just a little bit wide, catch the back of Roadrunner, and around he goes. But Dave the Harper, he needs to get a shift on, because Dave Harper's put on the soft compound tyre, didn't go to the end. F1 Roadrunner behind him may get a little frustrated being on the faster tyre if he can't catch.
I must say, if the way you guys describe that you assess drivers, I'm really surprised Drew fought for that position, because he's got damage to his front wheel, he's on all the tyres, he was off the racing line, and yet he chose to, defend. It's surprised by that.
Who was it? Hang on, Dave, hang on. Who was it that said Formula 1 drivers are not the cleverest of people?
Everybody. I mean, one thing I think a lot of people misinterpret or don't fully appreciate at times is, for example, okay, it could have been a slightly defensive move, but when you get into that braking zone and you're off the racing line and you've got the marbles there, you've got damage on the front wing, it's very easy for a driver to brake at a point that they think, I'll be okay here, and by the time they get to the corner they go, okay, I got that a little bit wrong. It's seen so many times and on so many occasions where, I mean, if Drew had been in that position with his front wing being okay, may have been alright, but at the same time, Wilkes, like we said, these are the reserve racers, so this is where he will learn. He'll now know if he's in that similar situation, he's going to have to slow down that bit earlier.
Exactly. There's a battle for 7th place happening right now with Roadrunner and I think it's David Harp.
It is. David Harp's right up behind him. RDB's retired from the session. DP, just while we're watching this, DP, if you could find out for us if anybody's got any penalties for ETLs, or if you could find out if that retirement was due to terminal damage.
Well, not right now. There is a few time penalties to be added on. I don't think it would have been. Well, it wasn't a terminal damage retirement for RDB though.
Right. Okay. Well, there we are. And Dave the Harp does have DRS, but F1 Roadrunner pulls the gap on him.
I'll tell you something else I've noticed. Breaking Plays has Maranello closing up on them, and they're both on the same tyres.
So maybe Breaking Clay's had his car more suited for the super soft compound tyres, whereas
the yellow flag in turn 4, what's that for?
That may, I don't know, maybe there was some damage there, or someone had an incident a few moments ago. Seems to be a bit strange if it was, could be RDB's car.
That could ruin people's races, but that actually can be an overtaking spot if that yellow flag's there for a long time.
Yeah, you would hope that it, the yellow flag would stop being waved after there was no reason for it need to be waved anymore.
So Maranello's got DRS open. Can you get close? Yeah, you can. Can you make the move? Makes go a long way round. Great move.
It was into a tight space, wasn't it? But it was still a great move. And RMS Maranello is going to be wanting to open up as much of the gap there as he can before the next DRS, because Breaking Clays is definitely going to have a look down the inside into turn 2 with the DRS, as long as he can stay close enough to him.
In front for you, coming to get you has pitted. He's now on the super soft tyre. Overdyking has also pitted and also gone to the super soft tyre.
Oh, I'm just wondering then, would that be that? Well, it's got to be a 2-stop race for him, hasn't it? But it's got to be super soft, super soft.
Well, it depends. I mean, you said that the super softs will do 10 to 15, didn't you? So he could be just trying to go 11 laps to the end.
That is true.
Overdyking's come out right in front of the battle for third, so now we've got second, third and fourth all together.
We have. So where did Coming to Get You come out then?
So he came out ahead of RMS Maranello, but obviously RMS Maranello has overtaken him. I was keeping an eye on Breaking Clays, and when I said earlier on he's closed in the gap a little bit by 3 attempts, after that he lost a second. So on old soft tyres, Coming to Get You was still a little bit quicker. The only thing Breaking Place can hope for now is that these guys on the super soft tyre suffer as much as everybody else did at the start of the race.
The thing is, these super soft tyres on lighter fuel load, when the track's more rubbered in, are so much quicker than the super softs were at the start of the race. The super soft tyres have much more an advantage over the soft compound at the end of the race than they do at the start. So it is going to be a difficult one.
I'm going to keep an eye on Drew because he's still not pitted yet.
Really? What position is he in at the moment?
Yeah. He is in 8th.
He's in 9th place at the moment, last of the race.
Oh, a Ferrari then. The Ferrari was just nearly in the pit wall. That must have been Breaking Clays. Yes, it was. He come out of the last corner, put the power on, and it didn't want to go straight, apart from straight into the pit wall.
I've noticed with Drew, he shifts gears very late, so right up to the red limiter. And like with the red limiter bouncing for at least a second or so.
And why? I'm going to ask you this question because I know that Drew likes to watch his races back. Why would he be better off not doing that?
Well, you can't go any faster, can you, when you hit the red limiter? So he's losing straight line speed. So
basically, shift a little earlier, and then he doesn't have a pause in his speed. Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
Also,
he just missed the wall again in that same wall where he damaged his wing.
There's also a feature on this game that the drivers can turn on. Now I'll have to double check this with DP, but I'm pretty sure it's even available for the guys in the No Assist League, and that is they can have the gear shift beep on if they wish to, which will tell them when to change the gear. So you actually have the audio tone of when to change gear. So that actually might help somebody like Drew. DP, they can use that, can't they, even on the No Assist?
Yeah. There's nothing to say that they can't. I mean, I do know a few people don't use it because it gets very monotonous. It's one of those things where once you've heard it, it's like if you're watching someone's footage, once you've heard it, you can't not hear it. Something I've just noticed as well, and I've only just noticed it now because I haven't actually done any laps around Russia, is there used to be something really, really frustrating about this particular circuit. And I can imagine a lot of people may not even have noticed it. So I'll tell you what, Steve, if you can put the camera on, I don't know, any particular car and tell me which one it is, and you ride on board with them.
Coming to get you. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so coming to get you, with this road, we're probably going to see him cutting loads of corners. If he does, apologies, coming to get you. But yeah. I mean, this is a circuit where some people love it, some people hate it. It is a little bit tricky. It's got some nice corners, it's got some horrible corners. It's got plenty of corners that can be fully abused. And to be fair, coming together has been looking very, very good here. The corner that's coming up is where Science crashed a couple of seasons ago, and I know there's one driver that hates this corner. For the braking, tip for it is take a wide entry in, straighten up the braking zone, the straighter your wheels, the easier it is to brake. Whereas coming together on my views just had a lock up. But the thing that used to really bug me about this particular track was
I know what you're going to say.
Thankfully they've got rid of it. You come round this left-hander, round the right-hander, and the barrier on the left-hand side used to protrude right out to the edge of the circuit and way too far, and you'd easily rip your front wing off, your wheel off. But thankfully someone sensible has got rid of that barrier.
Yeah, it was like half a Tech Pro barrier sticking halfway over the curb.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why? Yeah, it just, why? But somebody will still hit that wall. I guarantee it, at some point.
Quite possibly. I think the closest battle on track at the moment, you know, is F1 Roadrunner and Hindle. I don't know if Roadrunner is catching Hindle, but he's on a super soft tyre. I was also having a look at RMS Maranello's strategy. I think he may have to pit again unless he's planning on doing 21 laps on the soft compound tyre.
Well, 21 laps is possible on the soft compound as long as he's careful with his compound. With his, you know, he's not put too much pressure for him, but he will have to be careful.
He'll lose a lot of speed though if he tries to see them out though. That's a risky strategy.
Yeah, you could say that.
I've been I've been looking at some of the drivers on board in their telemetry. I've been analysing the top speed of the top three drivers. So that's Coming to Get You, Over Dyking, and RMS Maranello. Which driver do you think has the fastest top speed in the speed trap?
Okay, it's probably going to be Over Dyking. Can I tell you why? His is in kilometres, so it reads a higher number.
I think it'll be breaking close, Coming to Get You. Just to let you know, Steve, though, Roadrunner is catching him.
I'm on it.
He is getting ever closer. But go on then, Will. I reckon it's Coming to Get You.
It's Coming to Get You. It's the slowest out of them all by a mile. He's not even getting to 200. Whilst Over Dyking can get about 208, 209 very easily.
Do you think that it could be a difference of somebody running less fuel and not using rich, or someone using more fuel and using rich?
Well, the rich mix, depending on what track you are, at most probably give you about 6 to 7 miles an hour more top speed. So that's possible.
Synchronised half spins there from Hindle and Roadrunner. They stay in position. Sorry, carry on.
So yeah, that could be something they would like to do. I mean, it's probably the best time probably to, in my case, to use the Richard Doyle. Just ran wide, just missed the wall there. But your tyres are fresh, and the track is rubbered in. So it's probably the best time to use the rich fuel mix. He's looking very consistent over there, I think.
That move has happened, by the way. Hendel has had his position taken off him by F1 Roadrunner, DRS assisted. And Hindle will have to hope over these next 8 laps that are remaining the F1 Roadrunner's tyres burn out a little bit and his mediums can come back in. Just going to say though, Will, that this is something that DP may not be aware of because he doesn't get a chance to play on the game much, to drive on this version that often. You have the option to add fuel and remove fuel before the race. If you've got someone that's planning on not using a rich, you would try and work out how many litres of fuel you could start without, which theoretically would make your car faster at the start.
Yeah, but the start, as we know, is a lottery. So I mean, I've optimised the setup before, trying to gain positions in the first lap, but then I've been taken from behind or something out of my control has happened. So I tend to avoid that as much as I can. The other thing is also, as insurance, if you do get in a situation where you're falling back and you're trying to catch up, if you've got that fuel in reserve to burn, then you can use it. So I don't fall back onto the bare minimum. I will put maybe a few more litres in, just to use it. So.
Is this circuit known to be a fuel thirsty circuit, or would you say it's one where you tend to find you've got some left over at the end? In general,
in my experience, I tend to have fuel left over. I'm spending the last 5 laps burning fuel off.
I've got some info for you guys. RMS Maranello did have to make another pit stop for the super soft tyre he went for, but he's speeding in the pit lane drive-through penalty, so he's had to go through the pits twice, which is very unfortunate for him, but at least now he knows where the limit is. I mean, practicing the pit entry isn't the easiest of things to do, because obviously to practice it realistically you need warm tyres to do it. But I mean, one thing that some drivers can do, I mean, this is a little bit odd.
Don't, I'm keeping that for myself.
All right then.
No, go on, I'll let you. Go on.
No.
Go on.
No,
go on.
If you want to keep it secret.
No, go on.
Well, all I was going to say is, considering that I told you anyway, if people do want to practice their pit entries and they don't want to have to do 10-15 laps to get warm tyres to practice the pit entries, they simply stick on a set of intermediate tyres on a dry track and just drive round and do pit entries, because the lack of grip will kind of simulate very, very warm tyres. And if you can get the car stopped on inters in the pit lane on the limit, then you should be okay. Well,
I don't know if he's got any damage or not, but he gave the wall a bit of a clump.
Over diking, was that?
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd have been a bit of a scare for him. So yeah, DP, just to finish up on that. Intermediate tyres, you say?
Yeah, intermediate tyres on a dry track. It basically simulates warm, slick tyres. So if you can get the car stopped on going into the pits, then on inters, then you should easily be able to do it on warm tyres, unless they're obviously absolutely knackered. But it does mean obviously you can drive round, enter the pits, drive round, enter the pits, drive round, enter the pits. You can continuously do it until you find the exact limit of where you're able to stop. But it is always a good idea to find once you've worked out, okay, I can brake as late as this, find some kind of mark, whether it's on the track, on the wall, anything that can give you that right brake at this point, and then makes life a lot easier on the way into the pits.
But don't use shadows, because when it rains there'll be no shadows.
Yeah.
Unless it's a night race. Yeah.
Drew is pitted.
He did. I managed to just catch the rear end of that a lap ago. Yeah, I didn't say it because DP was talking. And then we keep talking over it.
F1 Roadrunner, having got past Hindle, is now under pressure from Hindle.
DP, got some information for you. Look at your other screen. Look what's on the broadcast.
I've seen.
Yeah, Hindle has managed to close that gap back in a bit. Yeah, it does look like F1 Roadrunner's tyres have got to that crossover point with Hindle's, where his mediums are slightly the better compound at the moment with their degradations. So yeah, this positions could change back any lap soon. I pretty much then would say that, oh no, Hindle's pulled over. What has happened to Hindle? He's going again.
Yeah.
No, it just looked like he locked up and pulled to the side of the road, and now he's going again. Very, very odd moment there. It just looked like his rear tyres just locked up. I'm wondering, whether he went down one too many gears and hit reverse. It was almost like somebody pulled the handbrake on. Very, very odd.
I'm going to have a look at the replay on that one.
Unfortunately, we won't be able to show a replay on here, but DP can be able to talk us through it.
Oh, that was an odd one, wasn't it? I mean, he had to get on the brakes very hard once it started going sideways on him. I'm wondering if he got on the curb a little bit and it started to spin him around. He had to get hard on the brakes, otherwise he was going to be into the barrier.
Yeah, there was a lot of tyre smoke, and it was either very hard on the brakes or into reverse. Yeah, it was a very odd one.
Oh, I think Drew may have had... Sorry, go on, Will.
No, obviously you do something interesting.
I was going to say, Drew, after not playing for a long time, is back in the pits again.
Drive-through penalty.
Well, I thought that might be the case, and he has driven straight through the pits. It must have been. When I looked on the incidents, it wasn't showing up as having a drive-through penalty. Maybe a delayed update on that. But yeah, drive-through penalty for him. That's unfortunate. That now puts him quite a way behind David Harp as well.
Right, just go through the order at this point in the race. We've got coming to get you lead in the race. In second place, Overdyking, 12 seconds behind. Braken Clays in third, 28 seconds off the lead, Kane Leander. Fourth, 32 seconds off the lead, Maranello. In fifth, 41 seconds off the lead, Roadrunner. In sixth, 59 seconds off the lead, Hindle running seventh, Dave Hart 8th, and Drew running 9th. So currently, at this moment in time, the top 3 World Championship reserve drivers are coming to get you, Braken Clays and Kane Leander. And the reason why I say that is Overdyking is a World Championship driver. So at the end of the race, which is only a handful of laps away, when we do the podium interviews, it will only be the World Championship reserve drivers that get interviewed at the end. So at this point, I will say, if you've got any questions you want to ask the podium drivers, just put at FRR on the YouTube chat comments, and yeah, ask away, ask a question. DP,
Tell you what, go on.
has anybody had any guesses at your question of the day?
They've not attempted it, but what
In
you
that
need
case,
to be aware of is that Kane Leander is catching Braken Clays.
I shall get on with that. Would you like to ask the question of the day again?
Yeah, I'll quickly go through the question of the day again. It's quite a simple one. Which current Formula 1 circuit has the least amount of elevation change from the highest point of the track to the lowest point of the track? So get your answers in, and we'll see if anyone gets it right.
Can I change my guess?
If you want to.
I thought your guess was quite a good one, but obviously not. Or you just want a second guess?
Why would you want to change your guess?
Google.
No, and then that. Because the circuit just pops to me. I've walked to this circuit as well. I wasn't out of breath when I did a lap.
Well, if you change your guess though, you'll kick yourself if you were right the first time.
I think it's Melbourne.
Kenny Leander
ran very wide.
Massively wide. Now there has been a comment in the on the YouTube chat that quite a few ETLs have been seen during this race. Yes, a few of them have, but that's what the reserve races are for, not for people to do ETLs, but for people. They'll race, they get penalties for them by the game. For some of them they won't, but that's where the drivers will need to be aware that if they take reserve drives in the World Championship or World Series, that having to provide the footage of their event means that any of the drivers can look at their footage, and if anybody has been exceeding track limits without doing what FRR call an ETL lift, then time penalties can be applied. I mean, it's kind of a little bit strict, but at the same time it's so that nobody can say, well, he's cutting corners. The drivers do a little lift that holds their speed or drops their speeds a little bit, and then they avoid getting any kind of penalty, which means that the drivers can they've got that option to push as hard as they can, and if they happen to go over the limit, they have a way of being able to avoid a penalty, and also have a way of avoiding having any of the other drivers saying, oh, you're only quick because you cut corners. But as I'm saying, that Kane Leander is catching up again. Oh, but that was a big ETL, that one. That one, I think, might need about 10 ETL lifts.
Yeah, just say on that, though, if people are seeing World Championship drivers that are taking part in this event doing ETLs, then, yeah, send them a message saying, haha, we see you cutting corners, you're a cheat, because they should know better.
That'll go down well. Will, what was you going to say a moment ago?
I think Kenny Leander's going to be on the move because he has got a 3-second penalty. So, and Breaking Place has no penalties. So,
what's the gap between Kane Leander and Hindle?
It's 17 seconds.
Yeah.
More than that.
Yeah.
Breaking Place. I think there's a lot more here. I misread that. That's way more, yeah.
Okay, Steve, just to let you know, coming to get you. He's on the final lap. Go on.
Breaking Place made a mistake. So Kingo's now right down, but yeah.
DP, look at your other screen. We're on board. Coming to get you.
I need to put my screens next to each other.
Yeah, he's got Dave the Harp, I think it is, that's in front of him, getting waved blue flags at him. Kane Leander's retired from the session. He didn't want to have a podium interview, did he? That's what it was. But anyway, let's see what these cars will do as they cross the line. We've got Coming to Get You coming across the line in first place. Currently in second place, we've got Over Dyking, who's coming into the last few corners now. A nice solid race there from World Championship driver. In third place, we've got Break and Clays. Nice shiny green helmet, green and white helmet he's got there. Breaking Clays. So just going to say that Coming to Get You and Breaking Clays at the start of this race, they were having some very interesting battles, and it'd be interesting to see what they have to say on the podium about that.
Yeah, Kane Leander, it wasn't a retirement, it was a terminal damage.
No, how unfortunate was that?
And what that means is that the third place WCR driver is the current 6th place driver, Hindle.
Well, there we go. That's who gets the invite onto the podium to get his views on the result. I don't mean the result, on his race.
Well, I tell you, I mean, it was. Considering that Russia is a circuit that never particularly gives fantastically exciting racing, it's just the nature of this track. I mean, those two WCR drivers up at the front, they were having one hell of a battle over that first stint of the race, and I think everybody else has probably learned something either about themselves or their setups while going around this track. I mean, what will really throw things up in the air for perhaps some of the World Championship and World Series drivers is what happens if it rains when it comes to the WC and WS races, because if they thought perhaps that this was a little bit tricky, then it'll be even more so in wet conditions. A lot of penalties given out there, though. A lot of penalties.
DP, could you do me a favour? I know you need to invite these guys in, but as you are inviting them in, could you send Break and Clay's a message and say if he's not got a mic, could he write a reply to you with his comments?
Yeah, no problem.
So there's the result coming to get you over Dyking, Break and Clay's, RS Maranello, F1 Roadrunner, Hindle, Kane Leander, still classified, Dave the Harp, Drew, RDB, Jamie James. There we are, just in time. Oh, that was a busy race. For saying there wasn't that many vehicles on circuit and not many pit stops, it did seem like there was quite a lot going on.
Kept me on my toes.
I'm quite glad that it wasn't a full lobby, to be honest. Looks like RMS Maranello wants to go again. Well, he can do that in a minute. After
so much fun.
Yeah. He obviously probably not happy with his overall performance and wants to practice a bit more because he is a World Championship driver. He gets to do his league race next week. Break and Clays has joined the party. Now, I know that DP is writing you a message. You may be able to hear me. If you can hear me, DP is writing you a message. If you're able to reply to him with your end of race comments or some comments, then that would be great. If you've got a microphone, we'll speak to you in a moment. And Hindle has joined the party. Good evening, Hindle.
What's he doing here? He finished 6th.
Coming to get you is back in the podium press conference room, whatever you wish to call it. Good evening. So, the top 3, the World Championship reserves, coming to get you, Break and Clays and Hindle. So, starting off with coming to get you, I want to ask you about qualifying on them soft compound tyres. Did you just put that time in and then go, yeah, that'll do, as in that's a pretty good lap, or was you actually expecting guys to be out there beating that time?
To be fair,
Oh, hang on a minute, your microphone might be breaking up on you. It wants a divorce. You might want to just unplug it, plug it back in again and see if it works a bit better.
how's that one, guys?
Spot on. Alright, carry on.
Yeah, no, qualifying. I put that time in, but expected it beaten.
Well, I can't say necessarily that we expected it to be beaten, because I can't remember what the time was. But
I think it was 38 dead.
we saw obviously that it didn't necessarily put you on pole, but it did put you, I think, at the end of qualifying. I think you was in 3rd place, which actually, to be fair, was probably one of the best places for you to start, because obviously you got a bit of slipstream off the line, and you was on the clean side of the circuit. Was you going to put a faster time in on a super soft, or was you always going to start with the soft compound?
I was planning to go to super soft, 2nd row of the grid. Got to take it.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more there. I mean, it was great. I mean, also, the start you had down into turn 2, coming out of turn 2, you're leading the race. Surprised, or was you thinking that was always a possibility, knowing that it's a long drag down into that turn 2?
Gobsmacked. Because getting off the grid, I initially thought everybody else should get away better.
That happens to be.
That I jumped everyone.
I think it's more of a how Russia is with the everybody on the right hand side is going to get a bad start because it's just no grip over there whatsoever. Everyone on the left hand side is going to get a not a very good start, so everyone kind of gets a bad start. The compound of your tyre, the kind of like the comparison between the super softs and the soft, there's not that much of a time difference between them at this circuit compared to somewhere like China in the last round, because obviously you're aware the degradation here is not that high. opening few laps, you had Braken Clays to battle with. I think he was wanting to get past you and drive away, but every time he got past you, you just wanted to go straight back past him. I think you might have annoyed him there, but at any point was he starting to annoy you, or was it just good battling from you and him there?
Great battling, bit close. But in all fairness, I thought he would have engaged the racing brain and then stayed behind the quicker driver.
Ooh, quicker driver, eh? Quicker driver. Good fighting, Todd.
Great racing, though. Great racing.
Yeah, it was. It was great racing and great to watch. And I've got many more questions I'd love to ask you, but I don't want to take up loads more time. So I'm going to ask my co-commentator this evening of Will, who is W Butler 89 from the World Championship drivers. So, Will, do you have any questions for Coming to Get You?
I do. Two questions. First question I ask you is, I just want a quick yes or no answer. Would you like to see the safety car brought back?
As long as bugs are fixed, because I believe there are a few glitches myself.
That's fine, fair enough.
That wasn't a yes or no answer, but carry on.
No, it wasn't. A very good political answer. There might be a side career there for you. My second question to you is, having analysed you drive, especially on board, which I did for a couple of laps, you've got a very smooth driving style, which is really good. What aspects of setup do you use to really get the best setup? What's the critical aspects of setup that you focus on?
To me, it's always been the same. The front end will always turn. The rear end has to be stable.
I'm just writing that down. Hang on.
Well, if you would ever like some tips, I'm more than happy to help.
I'll be in touch.
No worries.
That's great. Coming to Get You. Thanks for talking to us.
No
DP, any questions for Coming to Get You?
One really, yeah. Were you surprised that on the soft compound tyre you were so much quicker, not only in qualifying but also in the race, than people who started on the super softs?
That kind of kicked in at the start when I got the lead, and I was able to maintain it. But I was expecting the turnover point maybe lap 6.
Okay, so were you concerned that when you put the super softs on at the end that it would switch the other way?
That's exactly my thinking.
But in the end it doesn't matter.
No.
No.
No, I mean, to be fair, when you did your pit stop, you came out and just started putting that gap open, more and more open. Yeah, brilliant. DP, yeah, a couple of things here. Coming to Get You, may ask you a couple more questions in a moment. Please remind us to cover over the question of the day, which I think I may have forgot to give the answer to previously when I was doing the World Championship reserves. But anyway, DP, did you get a reply from Braken Clays?
Yes, I did. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a microphone. I asked him for some comments about his race. He said that he really, really enjoyed the head-to-head battle with Coming to Get You, but unfortunately, I didn't have the pace to keep up with the top two guys. He did think, he's put, I thought I wasn't going to be on the podium because of the penalty I had, but yeah, it was a great race. And I am going to just quickly check this as well, but I think Coming to Get You may have been one of the only drivers to not get a penalty. I will double check that, and if it's wrong, we'll give you a spanking as well. Coming to Get You, everybody else got quite a few penalties, but I mean, fair play to Braken Clays. He did put up one hell of a fight in the early stages of that race, and it was very tricky for him in the latter stages with the battles that he had, but still put on a good showing.
Alright, great stuff there from Braken Clays. If he's got anything else to add or anything, he can write another message to DP, but he may not read it because he doesn't have his notifications on. But he might do, he might just have a little look. So, third place on the podium, Hindle. I'd like to say well done, but I presume that's not how you probably felt about today.
No, that was BS from lap 1. It really was.
So, are you saying qualifying wasn't?
No, I was never going to qualify, but I just wanted to put some 6 times in, and I actually was, I think I was half 10th up in the first sector on P1, so I thought it's not too bad, and then I lost the car, so I didn't really get a sector 2 reference, but I was always going to start from the back. And then lap 1, the third to last corner coming out the just going into the chicane, James spun it and I hit him, so I had half a wing for about 10 laps. And then I had to pit for mediums, and then I got on the curb at the exit of turn 2, and I completely lost it. I had to slam the brakes on, but it still put me to the wall.
We kind of caught something. Was that when you were following F1 Roadrunner with a couple of laps to go?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the mediums or what, but I just got a bit on the curb, put a little bit of throttle on, it completely spun me to the wall.
I know what it is. Get ready to write this down. It's a front end that turns and a rear end that's stable.
No.
I tell you what I described it as when I saw it, and I say this because it's happened to me before. And it's when you at a certain speed, it allows you. I've said before, it only allows you to change gear when you're at certain speeds. But it allows you to go into reverse when you're in first gear. So if you do go down too many gears, it can actually go into reverse. Are you saying it definitely wasn't that?
Yeah, definitely not. I can see why I said that, because there was a lot of tyre smoke, because the car, I just held L2, and from when I was in a half spin, the tyres just locked the whole way from the curb to the barrier, and I still lost my front wing.
Yeah.
There was so much smoke down there, I thought there was a Bob Marley appreciation party going on down at turn 2.
No, but I was actually quite annoyed because the pull time that was set, I've actually done a faster time than that with no assist. So I am actually quite good around here, but from lap 1 it was a joke. No front wing, had to pit for mediums and then lost the wing again.
I've got a couple of questions for you if I can just jump in. Jamie James said on the YouTube chat that you were complaining about being 2 seconds off your assist pace. Was that part assist, or was that a big part having half the front wing?
No, man, I told him my PB, I shouldn't actually be saying this, but my PB with assist on is a 35.8.
No problem.
35.8 you said, 35.8.
No problem.
With
no
no
problem.
assist, it's a 37.1, and considering I barely use no assist, I've done about 10-15 laps with no assist round there. That's a 1.3 second gap. It's not too bad, and I think the pull time today was a 37.4, so I could have beaten that, and I knew I would have been pretty good in the race, starting on the softs and going to the super softs.
So you've not been in the 34s yet then?
No.
Alright.
Not like you do.
Okay. My other question was, when you went to the medium compound tyre, I was watching you for the couple of laps when you came out of the pits. The car looked a handful. Was that just cold tyres, cold medium tyres, or was it perhaps something not quite balanced with the setup?
I think it was trying to get the difference between the softs and the super softs, because the car actually felt pretty good on the softs, even though I had half a wing, and then on the mediums it was just shite. It was absolutely
Excuse his language.
And then I said just slow the car down a bit, and yeah, it was alright after that.
So there we go. That's that. Thank you very much. DP, question of the day. Ask the podium drivers.
I will in 1 second. I just want to reconfirm. Well done to coming to get you. Was the only driver that finished that didn't have a penalty. So well done on that one. Okay, yeah. Question of the day, guys. It's really simple. Which current Formula 1 track has the lowest elevation change from the highest point of the track to the lowest point of the track?
Russia.
Interesting.
Because we're at Russia, so you wouldn't have asked that question.
Coming to get you?
I would have to say Russia or Monza.
Ooh. Well, I can say that one sneaky person on YouTube wrote their answer, deleted it, and then put a different answer, and they agreed with Will in saying that it was Melbourne. It's not Melbourne. It is Russia. I mean, Melbourne
That was the first
is an
one I
interesting
said.
call. But yeah, I don't know if you actually answered. But yeah, it was Russia. I didn't ask it because it was Russia. I asked it because I was trying to find information on a different question, and I couldn't find it, so I went with that question instead. But yeah, its elevation change is only 1.9 metre difference.
I did say it is probably this circuit, but I'm going to say, and I said the other one. So, that's what I said. But anyway,
Australia was given a couple of times, and that's the second lowest elevation difference, which is 2.6.
So where does Melbourne fall in with that then? Not Melbourne.
Well, I was going to see what was
Montreal.
Will's first guess. Canada. Okay, that's 5.2 metres, and that's about.
Can I guess third? I think I know what third might be.
Oh,
Silverstone.
go on, then.
It's Singapore.
No, you're wrong again.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Mexico with a 2.8 difference. But anyway, there we go.
Monza, just say Monza's got quite a big difference because the cars have to go underneath the old circuit and back up again.
And you've got
No, it's going to be my first answer.
Let's see, Monza. Monza is probably where I find that Monza. Monza, 12.8 metres.
See? Yeah.
There we go. So that's question of the day dealt with.
Alright, okay. Brain blank, gone. Alright, just want to say thank you very much to the guys that finished on the podium. Thank you for joining us. Be prepared for being picked as a reserve driver for the World Championship next week by either one of the drivers or the admin's pick rookie. We did say at the start of the event that one driver has already been selected by a team, but we didn't say who, and we're not going to, just in case they change their mind. But they might not do. They might not. But yeah, I also want to say thank you to my co-commentator of Will Butler from the World Championship. Look out for him next Wednesday, W Butler 89. Thank you, Will, for helping out this evening.
No problem. Thanks for asking me.
No problem. I've enjoyed it, and you are welcome again in the future. DP, thank you very much for your help. Just want to mention before I sign off completely that the next event on Front Row Racing YouTube is tomorrow. That's the World Series Reserves. I'll be in the commentary box again. I will be with Ryan. Actually, it's tomorrow, isn't it? World Series Reserves. Yeah, it's me and you tomorrow. Me, you, and Dave. That is right. I was trying to think of who I was in the commentary box with. Yeah, me and you tomorrow with DP. So yeah, come join us tomorrow. We should be on air for about 7:25 UK time, maybe 7:30ish. But if you're a bit late, you just rewind it. Yeah. See you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and goodbye to everyone.